What's good, gamers? This past weekend, I was at CEOtaku down in Orlando, Florida, which is not only a yearly fighting game major, but also the largest anime fighting game tournament in the world. So it's got some titles that I'm sure you already know, like Strive, Granblue, and Uni 2, but it also hosts some more niche fan favorites, like Idol Showdown and Gundam. But earlier on this year, we actually got some news that the Wyndham Orlando, which is the venue that CEOtaku has been taking place at for almost a decade, suddenly closed down. So a lot of us, myself included, thought that we weren't going to have a CEOtaku this year. But thanks to Holiday Matsuri being kind enough to let us occupy their game room, we still had a place to hang out and game. So I was there, gaming for my life in the brackets, and also commentating another stop on the Arc World Tour. So here's how it all went down. Flew in Thursday night, so I was meeting Evan and Twang over at the airport. I land safe. I got there pretty late, but thankfully, because I landed around the same time as Twang and Evan, we were able to carpool with the Omnimobile. So Omni and Defiant picked us up. We were chilling, not too far of a drive from the hotels, thankfully. I think I was in a different hotel from the rest of them, but they were all like, driving wise, only a few minutes away from each other. So not too bad. They picked us up. It was like a 20-30 minute drive down to the hotels. And they were just asking everyone in the car. They were like, "Hi, Deffy, you gonna top 8 this weekend?" He's like, "Oh, you already know it, bro." And then he asks Evan, "Evan, are you gonna top 8 this weekend?" He's like, I don't know about all that." He asks Twang. He's like, "Twang, are you gonna top 8 this weekend?" He's like, I don't know, man. He's like, "Dude, there's no confidence in this car. What's going on?" And then he goes to me. He's like, "JAYTSU'S." I just cut him off. I'm like, "Dog, I am not making top 8. He's like, "No." Where's the belief in ourselves? But thankfully, I think the majority of the car actually did end up making it into Uni 2 top 8. I was not one of them. I'll tell you that much. I was not one of them. But that car ride was, full of champions, or at least finalists over at Taku. But headed over to my hotel Thursday night. I pass out, and I have so much time to sleep in because Friday, I don't think I was actually doing anything until like 4 p.m. where I had my Granblue pools. So I just slept in, I think, until at least like 11. So I was vibing out. I got breakfast with Twang, Evan, Rockhawk, and AC. So we just went to a breakfast place nearby. I forget the name, but I think Curly had like a whole list, like a whole doc of recommendations. So I ended up going there. It was pretty good. I forget what I got though. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't take a picture of my breakfast. How am I supposed to remember what I ate? So we headed over there. We got breakfast, and I cannot stop showing people Sifu videos ever since Climax. Like, they're so good. They're surrealist humor, and I can't stop bringing it up to people. I think I actually showed like 3 different groups of people more Sifu videos over breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's when we pass the time at brunch. And then we finally make our way over. We stop by our rooms, drop stuff off, and then we head down into the venue, and I'm playing Granblue pools. And I think my round 2, they gave me a bye, but my round 2 is going to be up on stream. So I'm already nervous. I'm like pretty caffeinated. I'm warmed up, thankfully, but I was warmed up on not my normal stick, but on this Hot 13 loaned from Rel. So why did I have to, borrow a loaner stick? As it turns out, as I was playing, my switch or my button just like popped out of the switch of my normal Tesseract. Thankfully, it's all replaced now. But this button right here, the one that I use for my dash macro, just popped out. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but that happens sometimes. So I tried to push it back in. But the section where the button clips into the switch was broken off in the switch. So it was just like a flat, inner surface. There was no way of putting it back in. So thankfully, Rel, photographer of FGC fame, I stopped by and I was like, "Dude, do you know if there's a stick repair shop or stand anywhere around?" He's like, "You can just borrow my leverless, man. Like, it'll be fine." I did not think the difference in form factor would be significant because I already play on a pretty small leverless. But this is definitely on the tinier side. Like, you can even tell the movement buttons are very close. The feeling of the buttons is different as well. I didn't know which one is the PlayStation button. So thankfully I got a little bit of time to warm up. At least for Granblue. So I get my bye for round number 2, and then I'm playing on stream. And I was so close, man. Oh my god. I had lethal. I was one hit away from 2-0. And then, oh my god. I baited a super, but it's a super where, I mean, I could have just killed if I blocked, right? But I was like, oh, this is guaranteed. I'm up against Beatrix. I know how to deal with this super and get the optimal punish. So I tried to roll it, but it hits low enough that it catches roll. I was supposed to spot dodge or just block it. You know, I could have done the normal thing and take my tournament combo, but I wanted to style, and then I died for it. And then it was 1-1, and then my nerves, my strike throw is bad, my pressure is linear, and I got owned by DPs. Oh my god. So I lost 1-2 on stream. It got sent down to losers pretty early. So I was fighting for my life over there. And then, you know, I was fighting through loser's side, you know, trying to stay alive, trying to at least have like a decent run. You know, I win my first match, I'm waiting around, I win my second. And then I see that, you know, I'm just like watching around, you know, on some of the winner sets, and someone, you know, ends up getting sent down to losers, and they're like, oh man, as soon as, you know, this person locked in Zeta, like, I knew it was over. I just think she's so annoying. And I was like, as a Zeta gamer, I'm proud of them, but I'm sorry to hear that happened. But eventually, you know, I kind of bossed up in losers, stayed alive, and I ended up running into them and playing them later. And, you know, them playing Belial, like, I'm not super comfy in that matchup, I would say. I don't play it a ton, at least. Let me drag this window over real quick. Yeah, I don't play the Belial matchup a ton, so I was like, ooh, hopefully I lock in. But I think they were so annoyed with Zeta by that point that thankfully I was able to clutch out the 2-0. So the losers run just keeps on going, and I finally make it to losers finals. But I'm scheduled to do Idol Showdown top 6 immediately after, right? So my pools were at 4 and Idol Showdown top 6 was at 6. I was like, oh, there's so much time. But because we were waiting on some sets for stream and some things got delayed as well, like, you know, I was playing losers semis of the pool, I think at like 550. So we finished that set. It's me and, let me see if I can find the picture. Oh, this one is so good, man. It's... This is me and Black Atlas, and he has a block to run, or yeah, he has a block to TO at 6. I have Idol Showdown to commentate at 6. So we're like, dude, we gotta hurry this up, man. Like, we gotta lock in and keep on going. So I'm out here leaned in. We both took, you can see like on the table, both of our earbuds, our dogs are out. Our earpods are out, and they're out on the table, and we're just yelling throughout this entire set. I wish someone shaky canned it because it was mad funny. Thankfully, I'm able to take it 2-0, and I'm like, okay, cool, I made it out of pools, awesome, let me run to Idol. And then the TO, Lucar, is like, no, actually, you have one more match. That was losers semis, you gotta play finals. And my opponent's about to sit down. I'm like, oh, dude, and I can... So, from this angle, right? Where I'm looking, of course, is the screen. If I look past it, it's the stream preview for where Idol Showdown is going to be on the CEO gaming stage. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have time, but I'll try my best. I'll see what I can do. Like, I messaged the commentary chat, and I see the timer, and it's like 5 minutes, then 4 minutes, then 3 minutes. I'm like, ooh, we're cutting it real close. And I'm about to start the set against... the gamer in losers finals, and then Keith, the commentary director over at CEOtaku, walks over. He goes, you are not playing this set, man. You got a block to do. I'm like, my bad, you're right. So I unplugged my stick. I'm like, I'm gonna DQ, and then I literally just like sprint halfway across the venue backstage to do Idol Showdown top 6. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I got like multiple messages from Yasian on Discord and on Twitter. He's like, dude, they need you at the CEO gaming stage like now. And I'm sitting there as we're doing the sound check. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm here now, my bad. But that is how those things go. You know, I DQ'd out of losers finals, and I'm like, I'm sitting with Atkins behind the scenes. I got a curious expression on my face over here, but I'm sitting here with Atkins, and we're doing our sound check, and he's like, oh, I actually was also in losers finals of my pool and had to DQ. I'm like, so I'm not late. And then Lucas in the back is like, no, you two are both late. Like, don't get it twisted. But Atkins got here before you because he realized he would have to DQ and lose his finals to make it in time. I was like, yeah, they kind of had to drag me kicking and screaming, man. They're like, well, you're here now. So I got to do Idol Showdown Top 6 with Atkins, which of course was super fun. I think we have never had an offline block before. Obviously, we've done a bunch of online blocks for his tournament series, Idol Throwdown, especially, you know, a lot more often a while back. But offline, we've never actually got to work with each other. We were both at Rumble in SoCal, but we didn't have a block together. We were kind of alternating. And same case with me and Shuabu as well. But we finally got to work an offline block for top 6, and he was so happy to see the action. Like, this was a really fun top 6. It had Blue, it had Ryazo, it had Elon, and a bunch of other folks as well. You know, it was a good combination of like people who've been playing the game since launch and have kind of had their, you know, time in the spotlight, or, you know, their ups and downs in competitive careers, versus Ryazo, someone who we know for, you know, Granblue and BB Tag, you know, who has also recently picked up Uni as well, and apparently picked up Idol Showdown 4 days before the bracket. I thought it was 1 or 2 weeks ago. It's actually 4 days. So he was getting advice from Wazim and JJ and actually ended up making it to top 3. Like, he was out at number 3. I was like, dude, how do you learn games so fast? Like, how are you so good? What the hell is wrong with you? But that was a really fun top 6. Me and Atkins, I think, do really well on the mic together, especially without the offline delay. You know, they were pumping out the top 6 audio to the crowd. So as we headed out, you know, a bunch of folks flagged us down. They were like, oh, that was so fun to see you on the mic together. I'm like, yeah, it was super sick. Something someone said was, you know, you and Atkins are a good duo. And I was like, yeah, I think so too. They're like, because you two kind of enable each other in a way that's, you know, it's not, oh, one of you is doing the energy and one of you is doing the analysis. It's kind of this amorphous, you know, back and forth where both of you are doing both of those roles, and then, you know, you're finding ways to prop each other up, and your energy is kind of contagious in this like ping pong back and forth, which is really fun to watch. And I'm like, thank you. And hopefully I get to work with Atkins a lot more. You know, I know he's picking up Granblue, and I think he's picking up Uni as well. He got to do some Uni blocks over at CEOtaku, so fingers crossed I get to work with the homie even more, because that was really fun. But that was the end of... Oh, I dropped my Hatsune Miku pen, which I got at White Elephant, which has nothing to do with CEOtaku, but, you know, I just love this pen. Anyway, we were... You know, so we finished that, and that was my, you know, the rest of my duties for Friday. And then we were going out to dinner to celebrate Defy's graduation. So it was a bunch of us uni folks. I think it was 10 of us, like Omni, Defiant, Twang, and a bunch of other folks as well. So we were going to go to Rocco's Tacos and Tequila Bar, and I was like, okay, I know the margaritas and the mojitos are going to be flowing, but I need to save myself for the rest of the weekend, because I know if I go hard tonight, even if it doesn't kill me for Saturday commentary, it's going to be extra fatigue and wear and tear for Sunday. So I was like, okay, I'm committing to 1 to 2 drinks, right? That's as much as we're going to do. But the earliest time we could get the reservation was 10:30. So me and Twang were like, I think we got to eat a little bit beforehand, because it was like 8 p.m. We were like, nah, dude, we got to eat a little bit before. So we got some of the chicken tenders over in the venue, and we were just vibing out. And then I actually ran into Fake Bruno, who some of you guys might know as a Street Fighter commentator and also a video editor, you know, and content creator as well, and also content strategist / advisor. And I was just talking to him before the stream, so hopefully there's some cool 2025 content in the works and in the pipeline for you guys. But we had a really good conversation, I think, about, you know, content in the FGC and people who are really killing it, both in the commentary scene and also, you know, learning to find their way, you know, in video production and filling in a lot of the spaces for, you know, things that we can make that are not necessarily just rank streams or, you know, some of the standard stuff that you see. I think people are now learning to take inspiration from other scenes, whether it's gaming or, you know, even outside of that, right? Like we talked about the Evo Wired interviews, you know, where they kind of have, oh, ask this expert about so-and-so questions that you have about this craft, which again is a really good format, which, you know, I think a lot of people very much resonated with. But we talked about content for like a half an hour, and then I was like, oh my God, it's almost time to go get dinner. Hell yeah. So, you know, we headed on over to Rocco's Tacos and Tequila Bar. Let me see if I got a picture of what I got. Oh, dude, these tacos were damn delicious. I was originally just gonna get like a quesadilla and have a, you know, boring but safe option. But as soon as Omni was like, dude, I'm gonna get the chorizo tacos with the rice and beans on the side, I was like, oh no, that sounds so good. No, I gotta lock in and get that shit, man. And these were delicious. It was a very good choice. The rice, you know, I was fine with it. But Defi looks at me across the table because he also got, you know, a taco platter with the rice and beans. And he's like, JAYTSU, I need your honest thoughts. I'm like, oh no. What are you going to ask me? He's like, how do you feel about this rice? I'm like, it's not bad. You know, I like it. I'm eating it. He's like, this shit is not seasoned, man. There's not a single hint of salt on this shit. Same for the beans. And then Omni's like, no, man, it's refried beans. Like, you can't fuck this shit up. He's like, well, they did. Because this shit got no flavor. It's just texture. I'm like, I took another bite and I was like, God. I think you've opened my eyes. I think you're right. But, you know, I also had a mojito on the side. So I was cooling out, man. You know, I really didn't need like a 10-star dinner. I was like, you know, something that is filling, a little bit tasty, and complements the chicken tenders that we had earlier on. That's fine by me. That's all I need, man. So that was very tasty. I think I had a mojito, I had a beer on the side, and then this little platter here. And we were just yapping about how the rest of the weekend was going to go. Because I think uni did not start until Saturday and then finished up on Sunday morning. So everybody had a lot of time. They were excited for their runs. They were kind of talking about their paths as well. And somehow Sifu made its way into the conversation as usual. I love these damn videos, man. They're so good. I think a bunch of them after we got back, there were like holiday Matsuri raves. And they were like, dude, we gotta check this shit out. And then I looked at my schedule. I was like, guys, I gotta be commentating at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Like, you gotta go head first into the breach and tell me how the raves are tomorrow, but I'm gonna go to bed. And they were like, all right, cool. So round comes Saturday, which is by far my busiest day. You know, I start at 11 and I think I ended at 9. I was like, oh my God, it's so late. So we started off, I had Grand Blue pools with 0, which is very fun. Oh my God, I didn't show you guys the bracket. Yeah, this is me DQing for top 32 to go to goddamn Idol Showdown. But I would do it 100 times out of 10. That shit was so worth it. That Idol Showdown top 6 was so good. But back to Saturday morning. It's 11 a.m. Zero's like, damn, I gotta be up mad early. I'm like, damn, I'm up mad early. But we're hanging out here. Yeah, this was chilling. I think a lot of the blocks that I had over at CEOtaku, I'm pretty proud of overall. I think, you know, in every single one of them, of course, there are moments where I'm just like, you know, we're filling time. It's not the most inspired thing that I've ever said, but like, you know, there were no big misses, I don't think. And also, this pool was where we saw the legend of the Stealer. So I don't have the VOD ready for you guys, but there was an Avatar Belial player that was kind of tearing it up in pools, and I was like, damn, okay. Because I knew that we were going to be doing top 16 and top 8. So as soon as they kind of sweeped their match, it was like a clean 2-0. I was like, I know this character's a little volatile, but hopefully we get to see them later on, right? And I thought nothing of it, you know, later on. So we finish our pools block, we're chilling, you know, we go to get some food or whatever. But right after, I have uni pools. So I talked about having to plan the replacement stick earlier. So in Grand Blue, it was not that bad because it's not really, you know, Grand Blue is not a super technically demanding game. Even on Zeta, a character that can be pretty annoying with, you know, combo routing, and I usually drop the fuzzy as well, you know, as far as execution goes. But overall, right, it's not super high APM. Uni, a little bit less so, right? So I didn't have any time to warm up Uni on that stick in particular, where I have like a pretty different button layout compared to Grand Blue. and my nerves were just like out of control. I was dropping so many BNBs, and again, I died in my winners round 1, and I'm like, oh dude, there's no way I owe 2 here. Like, there's no way. I need to lock in. I can't. You know, thankfully during the losers run, I think 1 or 2 sets in, you know, obviously still dropping stuff, but I got more and more, you know, consistent as I went on. Still fighting for my life. By the time I got to like the 3rd loser set, Twang behind me was like, okay, you're looking like you're feeling better. Is that true? I'm like, you know, I was able to finish a BNB. Like, that's all I can ask for at this point, man. You know, I was super nervous, but you know, eventually I make it out to losers finals, and who else to meet in losers finals of my pool but Masamune Ninja, you know, another uni content creator and Enkidu gamer. I was like, oh shit, I get to play against him. That's cool. And they're like, oh, you're gonna be up on stream. I'm like, oh no, because bracket nerves are already like a big thing for me, you know, and something that I'm trying to get used to. I think I want to stop by more locals, was the advice that I got to try and get over bracket nerves. But especially stream nerves kind of, you know, brings that up to, you know, twice as much, or like 5 times as much. So we're up there on stage, you know, fighting for our lives. I show everyone my little, you know, special week commission. This is so good, by the way. Like, this shit's so peak, man. I received this. I got the file while I was at CEOtaku, and I didn't have any time to stop by Artist Alley. So getting this, like, dude, it made my day. And I asked them, I was like, oh, can I show this on stream? They were like, yeah, sure, go for it. And it's an ugly pic. The picture, okay, the commission is great. Me, I got the Amazing World of Gumball face going on here, man. Like, you can see every wrinkle in my face. Like, this is not a flattering expression from that JAYTSU fellow. But I pulled up with this on stream. I play stream against Masamune Ninja, and I'm asking, you know, Garmfield, I'm asking Lid, I'm like, oh, do you guys have any tips, you know, against Enkidu? I'm like so nervous I'm gonna be up on stream. And they're like, okay, kind of play at 5C range. Like, you really don't have to commit. Like, you do not have to be the one to aggress. So, you know, just play for a good macro state. You really don't have to take too many risks against this character. And then also on defense, you know, when you see the IC, like, you know, look for the stand block. Like, that's a, you know, layer 1 knowledge check that you should be ready for, you know, and have it primed in the back of your mind so you're not jump scared while you're on stream. So thankfully, I did end up taking those 2 pieces of advice to heart, which I was very happy about. I think without that advice, I would just be mindlessly like dash blocking in, and it would have been a clean like 0-2, you know, and Masamune Ninja like would not have even broken a sweat. Thankfully, with the advice, I was able to make it, you know, up to, you know, kind of a close 1-2. You know, I think by the time we got to the end of the set, like, Ninja definitely had my number and like knew what I was looking for. You know, and it was definitely a lot less nervous than I was doing. Oh my god, I was doing so many silly things, man. I was, you know, dropping obviously due to nerves as well, but I do not know what possessed me to do run up VO. It got blocked, and then I lost the round. I looked back at the crowd. I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that. JAYTSU, your last set with Ninja had me deceased. It had me deceased too, man. I died. I died and resurrected from that set. I was like, I'm happy with what I was able to do with utilizing the advice, but I'm still very annoyed, I think, with how much nerves get to me, and, you know, how bad my decision making becomes under pressure. So I want to play more. I want to play more under, you know, quote unquote bracket stress, just so it's not like weighing on me every single time, or at least like is something that I can deal with a lot better. But, you know, man, we'll take it. Like, not the worst thing in the world, right? It could have been a cleanup too. Let me see. So yeah, I ended up getting to the same part of bracket for both of my, you know, tournament entries over at CEOtaku. So I got 33rd for Grand Blue, you know, DQing out from losers finals, and then I got, what was it, 25th in uni, losing in losers finals as well. So we'll take it, man. I was hoping I would 1-2, especially like losing my round 1 winners on both sides had me like, oh shit, am I gonna get owned? Like, is this gonna be real bad? I will say, I learned a lesson from that set, because this was from after I had lost, and I held this up to the camera. Like, I'm cringing as I'm saying this. I held this up to the camera after I had lost, and the folks behind me, you know what? At first, I was annoyed because they were like, nah, get that shit off the stream, man. You already lost. Like, vacate the seat. We got games to see. You know? And I was like, oh, why would they say that? That's kind of mean. And then I was like, you know what? They're kind of spitting though. You know, there's a time and place to be a silly little goofball, but I already lost on stream. I already made a fool of myself with some poor decision making, and now here I am, like, taking more time out of the viewer's day after already losing, right? Like, this is something I gotta do beforehand or after winning. This is not, you know, it is not the loser's privilege to be a jester. So after I got off, like, you know, got off the stand, I was like, all right, they're kind of right though. I gotta lock in so that I can do this commission justice and show it off in a, you know, in a better moment. But yeah. That was uni pools, and then right after that, I like ran to the bathroom, and then I ran right back because I had Strive commentary with Proxy for pools right after. Let me see if I can find this video. Hold on, because this shit's so good. Let's go to my media tab real quick. There were a couple players that had some. There was a pair of players, and one of them had an interesting name. One of them, MFCR, I'm sure you guys already know, a prolific Leo player out here on the streets. But he was up against another 4-letter tag. And I think going into commentary this weekend, I was like, I gotta be a little more whimsical. You know, I just gotta have like fun on the mic. Being serious is good, but being too serious is a little boring, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so let's pull this up.
Assault, and it's going to take you to the IMAX theater, and that's going to happen sometimes. You just got to be used to it, you know. Yeah. Like you said, it's just it's part of the experience.
You're actually going to get put
Crossing
on a
t-shirt,
t-shirt,
man. For sure, dude. The milk carton is calling for you, bro.
But a couple names that could definitely fit on a t-shirt. Pretty short as far as tag lengths go. We got MFCR versus Dick headed up for our next set.
I have heard.
I shouldn't have said that his name was short, right? Maybe that was a bit insensitive of me.
It's the flash of the tag that gets me, man. It's like the I shouldn't have said that, the silence, and then
maybe that was a bit insensitive of me.
You know, there's no reason, there's no way Dick would have heard what I was saying back there on the commentary desk, but just the slow fade in of the tags is so good, man. I think having a little bit more whimsy on the mic, if that was one of my goals, you know, that I think we came up pretty big on that one. So thankfully had a little bit of whimsy there. That was a fun block, hanging out with Proxy. I remember you running up full screen and doing some sort of red burst looking thing and almost winning because of it. Gummy, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had almost won in spite of that. So, you know, you run up, and if you do run up burst in Guilty Gear, right? You get gold burst, like, it's safe enough, right? Especially if you're a little bit spaced out, and if it works out, you get a positive bonus. If you run up Veil off in Uni, I mean, they get sent full screen like burst, you're in Veil off, but like there are so many other ways to use meter. Like, I don't know what possessed me to just run up and do a defensive option, but like, you know, I think maybe had we calmed down and locked in a little bit more, would have been a different story. But you know, that's an experience I can look back on and be like, all right, I want to have improved from that. But in the same way that maybe my, you know, gameplay as a player was not too great, I think my, you know, performance as a commentator was actually pretty good this weekend. So that was super fun. We had a little bit of levity there, and then finally after that block, at my first break of the day, so 5 to 7, I'm chilling out. I think I also went to the food court and just hung out with Plizno for a little bit. You know, I got some chicken tenders, we walked over, got some coffee, and then we finally came back. Because me and Plisno had like the same exact schedule. Obviously, Plisno's doing TO stuff, I'm doing commentary and gaming, but it was a long day for both of us, I'll tell you what. But thankfully, I needed that one last coffee to lock in. Because I ended the day with Strive Top 48, again with Proxy. So we were hanging out on the mic once again. And like, you know, it felt like the pools block, but better. You know, we were already kind of warmed up from having, you know, casted together earlier in the day. You know, obviously the sets get even more high octane as you get like deeper and deeper into the bracket. And it was kind of players that we knew as well, while still maintaining a little bit of that like levity and fun, you know, and balancing that with keeping the sets, you know, legitimately interesting and trying to analyze them as well. So that was very fun. I gotta say, my Strive work this weekend, especially as, you know, someone who has kind of put Strive not necessarily on the back burner, but I think definitely more on like a maintenance state while I'm trying to learn Granblue and learn Uni a little bit better. You know, I think feeling pretty good. You know, I'm glad that I can still have fun with my comfort game. But yeah, we ended up going for food after that. So it was me, Lentini, Combo, and Beautiful Crow. So we were, you know, walking around trying to find some place to eat. Obviously, it's like 9 p.m., you know, 9:30 by this point, because Crow had just gotten off of DBFZ Top 8 as well. So we were just looking for somewhere that was open. And we stopped on by some place called The Pub. And we walked in, not super loud. Seemed like there was, you know, decent bar food and whatever. We were like, this is the perfect vibe for what we're looking for right now. Not Rocco's Tacos and Tequila Bar, which is definitely a little bit louder, a little bit raunchier. You know, but The Pub was a very chill vibe. So we were just trading stories back and forth about commentary. Again, I brought up my Sifu brain rot as per usual, but Lentini and Combo also traded that brain rot with the Absolute Cinema brain rot. So you guys know the meme where they're just like leaning back. It's like the black and white picture. Is it Martin Scorsese? It might be. You know, but as the caption, Absolute Cinema. And they're like, yeah, man, I can't stop doing this every time I like something. You know, I don't even say the phrase Absolute Cinema anymore. I just like, I put my hands up like this and my friends know what I'm trying to communicate. I'm like, oh, that's a funny physical tick to have. And then I could not stop doing it throughout the weekend, man. Like, it was so bad. I am at once a node for mimetic spread and also incredibly susceptible to that same spread of memes. Like, if someone tells me something and I think it's funny, like I'm gonna reference it another 15 to 20 times in the next 24 hours. Like, it's so doomed. But yeah, dinner was good. I think I just ended up getting like, it was the biggest damn chicken sandwich I've ever seen in my life, dude. Like, it took me a good while to get through it. So I can't say I didn't get the value for the price. But as we were eating, you know, one of us, I think Crow, ends up stopping by the bathroom and then coming back, right? So they're walking back to the table, and Lentini and Combo are on one side of the table, and then it's me and Crow on the other side. Lentini and Combo, their view of the restaurant is kind of obstructed by this pillar on the side, right? So they can't see everything. But Crow looks at me after sitting back down in their seat, and they're like, do you see that guy at the entrance just doing the Wakanda Forever pose? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And I swear to you, like 50 feet away, there's a guy just standing at the entrance, stone cold, no expression, no movement, just doing. And I don't know what his deal was. He wasn't holding anything. He wasn't with anyone. It was just this one dude. No server was helping him. He it didn't look like he was looking around the bar. Like, I was so confused. And then I thought that he would either go away or like get seated, right? But then I looked over like 5 minutes later and he's still. So to this day, I still don't know what that was about or like what, frankly, what his deal was. But maybe one day I'll discover. Or maybe that's just one of the mysteries of the universe that I'll never get to figure out. He could still be holding it down there. Like, I didn't see him move. I checked like 10 minutes later and he just disappeared, and I was like, he could be behind me doing that shit. Like, he could be hitting the Wakanda Forever, like, just out of my field of view, and I just wouldn't know, man. Like, there's no way. But oh yeah, as me and Plisno got coffee, we realized as we were looking through the hotel convenience store that they had the Zephyr Hills water bottle, and the big one too. So I was like, Plisno, I gotta bother you to brain rot. And they're like, don't worry, I got you. So I hand Plisno my phone, and as is tradition over here at CEOtaku with the Zephyr Hills water bottle, of course, you already know I had to boast up. So I got that, you know. We're 2 years running for water bottle shenanigans. There was something that Jen said. I think Jen was like, look at how he's holding this water bottle. The thing that made him famous. Not with acceptance, not with appreciation, but with content. Look what fame does to you. I'm like, you gotta shut the hell up over there, Jen. You're reaching suboptimal levels of yap. You're doing too much. But yeah, we passed out after dinner. I headed back to my room. I think there was another rave, and I was like, I'm not going to this shit, man. I don't work until 12:30, but I'm just, you know, I'm tired. You guys let me know how that goes. And then, you know, I'm waking up, I'm getting ready Sunday morning. So I have Grand Blue Top 16 at 12:30, and then a half an hour break into Top 8 Grand Blue. So, you know, I knew I had to be well rested. If I came in fatigued at the start of Sunday morning, like, it would be cooked. So thankfully, you know, woke up on time, got a bunch of sleep, was big chilling, and then 12:30, I'm hopping on comms with Zero. And Top 16, who else do we see but the Stealer? I'm like, wait, holy shit, this Avatar Belial, like, stayed alive. Like, life is good. This dude might be having the run of his damn life. So they were killing it. We do Top 16, it's a good block, and we're like, okay, we gotta run to the bathroom, because I had to piss so bad, like, an hour into the block, and I was like, oh my god, we're only halfway through. I'm like leaning over, I'm like, fighting for my damn life, man. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Drinking too much water, drinking too much coffee behind the scenes. Oh, this convenience store is also where I picked up 2 monsters. So I was 1 monster in for block number 1, and then in the break, I was drinking the second one. There was a lot of caffeine just coursing through my 5'4" body. What's good? What's poppin', Greyfish? Hope you're doing well. Shout out to the Rosen Plaza convenience store. Dude, they actually had some pretty good stuff here. I might have considered, if I realized, picking up some Chobani, because, you know, yogurt and fruit, I feel like that shit just... it's the shit that keeps you grounded on a long weekend, I'll tell you what. But yeah, we got our little break. And I'm sitting because it's going to be on the stage that Uni 2 Top 8 is currently taking place, like on the CEO Gaming main stage. So I'm sitting around and I make it in time to catch, I think, Losers Finals. Yeah, which I think was Defi Big Black. So Defi takes it over BB. And I'm sitting, you know, I'm chilling out next to Evan. And we're just vibing out. Evan's giving me like a little bit of lore on Kuon versus Byakuya specific interactions, which I'm like, oh, I would not have realized this. Like, this is pretty sick. So I'm sitting next to Evan. You know, and then Bowie and Rel come up to me, and they're like, or no, they actually don't come up to me. They're standing next to me. I happen to be sitting in front of the person who's like handing out the award ceremony medals, and then Bowie and Rel are discussing next to me, like right off to my side. Oh, okay, who are we going to get to do the medal ceremony? Like, how's it going to go down? Are we going to meet the commentators? And what's it called? I'm like, oh, you know, the way that they've been doing it on the main stage is, you know, they just have the commentators do it over the house mic. Like, that's how it's been going down. And they're like, oh, okay, because we got directive to, you know, get a announcer or, you know, someone separate to do it. So I was like, oh, okay, like, whatever, that's fine. They're like, do you want to do it, JAYTSU? I'm like, and I'm thinking like, oh, it would be good to do it, but I don't want to, or I want to, but I'm so nervous and I don't want to, and I have to save my voice for top 8. So I'm like going back and forth on it, and then I'm like, no, I think I'll be okay. And they're like, okay, we'll flag down Jabali to do it. And I'm like, cool. And I'm sitting there after having said no, and, you know, as grand finals is kind of going down, I'm like, do I actually want to do the medal ceremony? Because I'm sitting there and I'm realizing like, oh, I'm bored. Like, I'm not doing anything until Grand Blue top 8 anyway. And do I want to, you know, when I fly home, am I going to be like, damn, I wish I had done the medal ceremony. I wish I had bossed up. Or, you know, am I so nervous that I'm going to do a bad job? And then I was like, you know, man, thinking long term, like if you're constantly trying not to do things because you're nervous, then you're never going to get the experience that you need to get less nervous about doing things. So I walk over to Bowie and I'm like, hey, I know I literally just said that I don't want to do it. If you're cool with it, I've changed my mind. So I am down to do the Uni 2 award ceremony if that's cool with you guys. And they're like, wow. If you'd be so kind to do so, I mean, we got no issue with it. So we ended up doing it. So we were, you know, waiting around for top 8. I'm like scrolling through and I'm asking Evan, I'm like, oh, this person plays Mika, right? This person is pronounced, you know, this way for their tag, right? Thankfully, Evan was saving me again with a little bit of the lore. So I think we did a pretty good job here. Let's watch. We're also almost coming up on the training mode bracket time, so we're gonna wrap up soon.
Throw it to the boy himself, JAYTSU'S on the main stage.
What's happening to my? Oh, are you guys able to hear this?
One more time, let's give it up for our Uni 2 top 8 here at CEOtaku.
All right, perfect. I turned it up a little bit. It's probably a little bit
There we
low.
go, a bunch of beautiful faces, and coming up in number 7, the MF Texas Hammer.
It's not even a tag.
That is not his tag anymore. On start.gg, it says the Texas Hammer, but I love .mf Texas Hammer. I was like, we're gonna take some creative liberties here.
And tied for 7, the Mika master himself, Vale 47.
Let's go, Vale. Mika Gaming.
All right, coming up in 5th, the belated birthday boy, the Byakuya gamer himself, Just Evan.
Oh yeah, it was Evan's birthday on Saturday as well. And I mean, he made top 8, so obviously he had a pretty good birthday.
And also in 5th place, the freakiest Elton out here on the streets, Omni D.
I was like, what do I say for Omni? I'm like, you know, Omni won't be mad if I call him
And
freaky.
let's bring up this top
That's
4
okay.
in 4th place, Batista Gaming, it's Ral.
I had to ask Evan, I was like, is it Ral or RAL? Evan's like, I think it's Ral.
And number 3, a down back demon, it's Big Black.
I don't like how my voice kind of cracked there, but we'll take it.
Another Batista monster coming up 2nd place, it's Foxo.
I did not want to dwell on calling him 2nd place. I was like, I just got to go to the name,
And
man.
number 1, 3-0 in the reset, the random select main, and BBB's own Defiant.
I think that was a good length for the championship call. Unfortunately, I think my voice
Give it
was
up for Uni 2 top 8 here at CEOtaku 2024.
my voice was definitely getting like a little cooked by the time I got to the end, but I think overall this is like a good, you know, this is a decent top 8 call. I think it's better than the one that I did over at what's it called? At DreamHack Dallas, where I mixed up a couple players. So in that sense, I'm happy that I ended up saying yes. This is my first time watching the top 8 footage. I didn't think I was still on camera picking up the mask. That's funny. I'm sure Defi also didn't realize that he was on camera looking at the Zenny glasses like, what the hell is this? But that's how it goes. Yeah, Uni 2 top 8 medal ceremony. I'm glad that I ended up doing it. We got a nice little picture out of it too. I look a mix of confused and suspicious. I look like I'm plotting something devious. Yeah, something going on there. Oh, this is also a funny picture that Twang took. I'm just... Look at me, man. I'm throating that shit. I think it would have been funnier if Twang had the picture of me, like, doubled over doing it, because as I got, like, later and later into the top 8, I was just, like... I was, like, full 90-degree bow, like, just sending that shit, man. That's how it goes. But yeah, that was fun. And then we went into Grand Blue top 8. Dude, I kept bringing up Rice Shower for Zerom's run because he had, you know, off to the camera, he had put up a box of a Rice Shower figure, and I was like, wait, I didn't know Zerom was chill like that. I didn't know he fucked with Uma Musume. So in between top 16 and top 8, I was like, oh, like I didn't realize you were a Rice Shower fan. He's like, yeah, she's one of my favorites. I'm like, she's the GOAT, man. She's so good. And because Zerom, you know, I think Zero, the commentator, I think did a good job of kind of building up Zerom, the player, as this, you know, dark horse, like someone who had a lot of really good results in vanilla, and I think was dominant for that era, but I think has been so close to, but has been evading, I think, some of these like top one, you know, photo finishes just barely at the end at various events. You know, and Rice Shower is also a dark horse, you know, literally and figuratively speaking in her storyline, right? She beats, you know, a certain famous horse, and, you know, has her own arc about that. So I was like, you know, this is the perfect comparison to make. I think the first couple times I tried to do it, I was, you know, kind of meandering. It was like, whatever, is a little cringe. But I think towards the end, the analogy of calling Zerom kind of this dark horse, like Rice Shower, like, oh, this is your Kika show, this is finally the victory that you've been looking for so long, against all odds, and locking in a competitive spot over here on the AWT, like competitive, you know, points ladder or whatever. I think we landed on our feet with the comparison eventually. I still think it could have been a little bit better, but I mean, I think me in the beginning of the year either would have done it way more awkwardly, or I would have been like, oh no, I shouldn't do that, that's not professional, like, you know, that's too much for commentary, we're at a major. But like, you know, you're supposed to have fun at majors. Obviously you're supposed to bring a certain level of decorum as well, but, you know, having fun is fun for everyone. They can kind of see it come through the commentary that you are having fun talking about the player and the analogy that you're making and the energy that you're bringing to the mic. So, you know, all in all, CEOtaku commentary, I think it was a victory. It was good. Still, of course, places that I want to improve on. Game knowledge on both of them. I think I gotta study up on Avatar Belial. I gotta study up on Slayer. I gotta study up on Onrei. But I got a lot of good sets. My blocks with Proxy, with Kraken Atkins, and with Zero, like, I think all went super well, so we will take it. I think CEOtaku overall, you know, was a dub. And then, yeah, I think Sunday night we were just vibing out. We chilled out at the bar, we chilled out in some hotel rooms. I realized Lucas, the, you know, TNS production guy, is very good at the Hemomancer bit. You know, the one where he's like, a Hemomancer, a vampire. You know that one? He's a surprisingly eloquent individual. I say surprisingly, not because I think that Lucas is someone who's not capable of it. I'm so used to hearing him behind the scenes on production stuff that I didn't realize that he had such a vast vocabulary. I was like, holy shit. And I think him, me, and a few other TNS folks, you know, were hanging out for quite some time. I think I ended up heading back to my room at like 4 or 5 a.m., you know, and I headed over to the airport around like 7 or 8. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so tired. But, you know, I think the conversations were good enough that I got no regrets. So overall, CEOtaku, in the, you know, in the words and in the gestures of Lentini and Combo, absolute cinema. So hopefully you guys enjoyed if you were there. Hopefully you enjoyed if you were watching along as well. But I got some Uni to play. I gotta hang out and log in and check in for my match. Oh god. Alright, so that was my CEOtaku 2024. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I really want to do a little bit more event coverage, match analysis, and just hanging out with you guys over on Twitch and YouTube as well in 2025. So if you guys want to follow along, you're welcome to like and subscribe. Also, there's going to be a bunch of events happening in 2025, of course. I'm going to be stopping on by Frosty Faustings, I'm trying to go to Awaited Fate, Perfect Storm, and hopefully Arc World Tour Finals as well. So if you guys have any events coming up in the next year that you're excited to stop on by, make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know where I'm going to see you guys at. But I'll see you in the next one. Peace.